I have two sons, and a lot of people know me because my son Mason, we vaccinated him at 4 months old in March of 2011, and 3 days later he died for no apparent reason. And so we went on to have another son, and we had to make a decision about vaccines, and we decided not to vaccinate him. And he actually contracted pertussis. And he's 4 years old now. He was a year old when it happened. And he's really healthy and happy. And of course, my older son, Mason, he is dead. So I hear a lot of misinformation about how you need to give your child a pertussis vaccine to avoid death. And what I want to tell you is I want to show you a little bit of math so that you can understand how low the risk of death from pertussis actually is. This is what I did so that I could decide, oh my God, am I going to vaccinate my next kid or not? And that sounds crazy, but I do understand how scary it is to have a government agency telling you that, you know, babies die all the time from this disease, and so you're scared into vaccination. So I've printed out this sheet from the CDC, and in it, they gave me some of my numbers that I'm going to use for these statistics. So they say, now we see about 10,000 to 40,000 cases reported each year, and unfortunately up to 20 deaths. Now, the CDC is notorious for using selective language like about and up to, and 10,000 is actually only 25% of this 40,000, so this range is giant, and they're doing it that way on purpose. But I'm going to go ahead and play their little game and say that there are 40,000 cases a year, and we'll say 20 deaths. And so the first thing I want you to see is that even with these 20 deaths out of these 40,000 cases, our death rate is much lower than you think. So we take 20 and we divide it by the number of cases, which is 40,000. And our answer is 0.0005. And to find out the percentage, you just move this little decimal point 2 places, just like in school, and we get 0.05%. This is your chance of dying once you have pertussis, okay? This means you've already caught it. But what's your chance of catching pertussis to begin with? We know it's 40,000, but in order for us to even find that answer, we have to divide that 40,000 by the population. So we have 40,000 people, and there's 318 million people in the United States. So we're going to take 40,000 and we're going to divide it by 318 million. And our answer is 0.0001257861, and it probably continues. We're going to move our decimal place 2 places again, and then you see that your risk is 0.01%. For even contracting pertussis to begin with. Now, what is your chance of dying from pertussis? Now, it seems insane once you look at it, but a lot of people just don't know how to lay the math out. So that's what I'm doing for you right now. So these are the deaths. We'll say that we had 20 out of 318 million people. Now, you already know this is going to be a really small number. That puts your risk at, and that's a lot of zeros. So that is 0.0000, and then 3 more zeros, 629. We're going to move that over 2 again, which leaves us with these 5 zeros. So 0.00000629%. This right here, people, this is what you're vaccinating your children for. You are vaccinating your children so that they do not become part of the 0.0000629% of people that die in this country from pertussis every year. Now, I got onto VAERS, which is a reporting system where adverse reactions are reported by physicians, nurses, parents, whatever. And I just wanted to see what kind of reports they had about the DTaP vaccine. So there were 38,199 adverse reactions reported. Now, the other important thing to note is that the AMA, the American Medical Association, which is who's recommending the vaccines that you guys, or that some people are choosing to use, says that only 10% of all adverse events are even reported to VAERS, but we also know that could be as low as 1 to 2%. But we'll say 10% are reported to VAERS, okay? Now, this is what VAERS said. Death was reported 486 times. Cardiac arrest was reported 931 times. Coma was reported 367 times. Pedicai, and I'll tell you why this one's relevant to me in a second. Pedicai was reported in 404. Pneumonia. That was reported in 485. Resuscitation was reported in 290, which means that they had to be resuscitated. Seizures, 288. And the last one I wrote down, that I'm going to write here before I run out of space, is I can't even write, unresponsive to stimuli. And there were 465 reports there. Now, if we take the numbers that the AMA has said, I'll use my really awful marker here, we know that they said only 10%. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through here and say, all right, well, the AMA is saying that's probably the real number, 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 that's probably the real number. And if you're one of the people that believes it's really only 1%, which it probably is, instead of 4,000, we're moving to 48,000, 93,000, 36,000, 40,000, 48,000, and 46,000. So according to the AMA, these are the numbers that are more likely for all of these conditions right now. Isn't that crazy? Why would anybody risk that with a vaccine?